So creating exceptional real estate experiences for our agents, our customers, and our communities through the passionate delivery of truly remarkable service is our mission. And changing lives is what we do.
Hey everybody, and thank you for joining the Distinctive Properties Show. Welcome to episode 26. The grass is greenest where you water it. So today we're filming on Veterans Day. And so first and foremost, I just want to say thank you to all the veterans that have paid the price for our freedom, because as we know, freedom is not free. But on the heels of an election where there were a lot of folks that said, hey, listen, if my candidate, whoever your candidate was, doesn't win, I'm moving to Canada, right? I thought it was kind of appropriate for us to talk about the grass being greener on the other side. Because listen, I talk to a lot of agents on a variety of topics, but the one thing that's present in each of these conversations, whether I'm talking about a CRM, a book, a company, like I could even be talking about relationships, everyone seems to be worried that they're making the wrong choice, that they're missing out on something, you know, like over there, wherever over there is. So it's called the grass is greener syndrome, and I jokingly say that, you know, it's gigs, and gigs can be deadly. And I mean that only partly in jest. The reality is that there are countless people out there in the market today, right now, right this second, and some of them are part of our company, that aren't even using a CRM. Can you imagine operating your business without even having something that communicates on a regular basis or holds the data from your clients? Well, why, you might ask, right? Well, because they're all very worried about choosing the wrong program. So they're so worried about it that they won't even commit. So there are a bunch of people out there, for example, and I get this a lot, right? That they're not getting what they need out of even a good book, right? Because they've just moved on mentally. They've moved on to this place where there's a silver bullet out there someplace, and I'm going to find it. It's going to be in the next book, right? Rather than just taking the moment. And probably one of the saddest parts for me is I see, and I talk to, again, a lot of people, where people are missing out on the awesomeness of their relationships, whether that be with friends or their spouse or partner, because they're so worried that maybe they're settling, that maybe there's something more out there. And yeah, of course, like we see it all the time from a company perspective, right? There's people out there that are like, oh, well, we're going to change scenery, meaning I'm going to move from one company to the other, because they want so badly to believe the promises of that utopia over there. So I thought today I'd spend a little bit of time talking to you about the questions that I get, and let's just walk through them. And anyway, maybe you'll learn something from it, maybe you won't, but here we go, right? So the number one question for 2016 being asked of me was, what's the best CRM, right? We should have a drum roll right here, right? Scott, you think we should put a drum roll in? Okay. What's the best CRM? Well, wait for it. The one you use. Here's the reality. Like CRMs, like what's a CRM? Well, you need it to hold your contacts, right? You need it to group correctly, right? You need to be able to keep notes. You need to be able to schedule some future task, right? Be awesome if it had a campaign where you could just set it and forget it, like newsletters and that kind of stuff. How about auto alerts, like IDX feed already built into your CRM? That's great. But beyond that, it's sort of diminishing returns, right? The key is that you have to actually use a CRM. Number two, most asked question of 2016, what's the best book you've read this year? Y'all, I consume books at a ridiculous pace. I'm probably over 30 or 40 books so far this year. As you know, obviously I'm driving, so I'm getting them through Audible. If you don't know Audible, you need to know Audible. I'm reading. Every one of the books that I've read this year has been flat amazing. I've gleaned something, like whether it be mindset or what not to do, which is always a big one, right? A sliver of wisdom, I mean, something. But there is a trick, the secret sauce, if you will, to this whole thing is you need to focus on and love the message that you're in, focus on what you're learning, that one book. Don't think about the next book, right? There's a lesson in every single one, whether it be a skill, something mindset, something wisdom, in everything we read. And it doesn't have to be books, right? It can be videos, it can be blogs, it can be, anything. You need only be, in the proper focus, right? You just have to be able to receive it. Don't miss out. Be on the hunt for the one thing. Just find one thing in everything that you read that resonates with you. Here's another one, right? How do you get awesomeness out of your relationships, right? This is a work in progress, is it not? I mean, but I think the real change for me, and the change that I see in the people that I talk to, is that most of us go into this whole thing, any kind of relationship, really. I mean, whether it's a partner, a friend, and another agent or a company, right? With this mindset of, what is this other person going to do for me? I mean, what are they going to do to make my life a better life? Some value that they're going to bring to you. And I have to be honest with you, when that's the focus, I think that's a recipe for disaster. If you want true awesomeness in your relationships, I think you have to start with the right question. And the right question is, what can I do to add value to that relationship? So how can I leave my business or someone else's life or a client's life or my kid's life or my wife's life? How can I leave it better today? How can I have an impact on their life so that they were better to have had me in it, right? Somehow better. I think the reality that you have to get in is that the moment that you become a giver rather than a taker, that relationship will be nothing short of awesome. Well, awesomeness, I guess, technically, right? So I promise you this, if you will change the way you look at the situations, everybody you come in contact, whether that be the company you work for, whether that be an agent that you work with, whether that be your spouse, your kids, your friends, your community, and you approach it from a standpoint of, I'm going to figure out a way to make their lives better, you will get so much more. And frankly, you know what? You're going to see how truly awesome your relationship is just by changing the way you look. I get a lot of this too, and obviously, especially with the coaching, I'm coaching companies that are and agents that are with other companies. It's a little bit weird, like what's the best company to work for? I don't know. Like, I know all companies aren't created equal, and I get that. I don't know. I mean, the fact of the matter is that there really are two types of agents out there. There are agents that are doing the work, right? And then there's agents that don't do the work. And I see this in my coaching every single day. So if you're part of the first, right, where you go, okay, well, I'm not doing the work. The scenery doesn't make a difference. I can do it here or I can do it there, but until I get in touch with why I'm doing it or why I'm not doing it, until I get in touch with the motivation, if you will, to change my behaviors to more appropriately align with my goals, it doesn't matter, right? It just doesn't matter. The scenery has nothing to do with it. Now, if you are part of the second group where you're working hard and you're having success and suddenly people are paying attention to you, people from other companies are paying attention to you and you're being recruited, I just say this, of course they are. You're amazing. Like, that's the whole point. It's one of the reasons that you work at this company or the company that you're currently working with. The reason is you're amazing. You're doing the work, you're executing at a high level, and it may just be in part, right, that the company that you chose to affiliate with, the tools and the systems and the training and the support and all of that stuff, and the people that you surrounded yourself with are part of the reason for your success, right? And the reality is that your hard work and your smarts and all have a piece, are all part of that puzzle, right? And so if you really dug deep and you said, gosh, you know what, part of my success probably is because of the people I surround myself with, and darn straight, I should be in demand. Anybody that's operating a business would be crazy not to want me. If you really dug deep and said, gosh, you know what, if I just executed at a higher level more consistently, right? Hard work, work smarter, and do it consistently, those are the three pieces, I might actually 3, 4, 5x my own success that got me here. Too many times people fall prey, if you will, to the flattery, right? And they so badly want to be wanted. And your company wants you. Certainly when it comes here, we want you to be a raving fan of Coldwell Banker Distinctive Properties, period. Because you rock. I see a lot, right? I see a lot of people that go, hey, you know what? I'm going to depart this part of the beach for a new part of the beach in the hopes that the view is different. And then you find out, oh my gosh, the view's the same. And the reality is, if you water your grass, it gets greener. If you approach all of the situations in your world as though you are going to leave that situation, that person, that business better off than it was when I got there, the grass that you live on now will be the greenest grass you've ever seen. And your 2017 is going to be an absolute epic year. As always, I'm here for you.